So I know that I often say it's easier to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission. But for a change, I actually asked for permission first, and I got what I wanted. Right, so like I said, for a change I asked permission as opposed to just putting a fish tank in the house. And I've been given permission to put one here. So I'm pretty happy about that. So there is some positives and some negatives of pushing the tank here. First positive is, as you can hear, little junior fish keeper behind me can't get his little dirty fingers into it because he can't quite climb that high yet. The next positive is that, although I haven't told the wife, I can still fit 2 more aquariums right beside her, and I'm whispering because I know she can hear me if I talk too loud. So that is another bonus of putting it here. I also use this area, although it's our dining room table, I also use this area as an office space every night, so I'll be able to see the tank every night, and having the ability to see the tank each night, you know, it's a bit of a bonus for me. It means I'll be able to enjoy it as well, because that's part and parcel of it. Hello, little buddy. Hello. Yeah. Oh, down you go. Yeah, so it's an office space for me, which means I'll be able to look at the tank on a regular basis. There is, of course, some downsides to having it here. So it is obviously a window, and it does get direct sunlight. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of sun coming through here, which is exactly where I'm going to be holding it. So there's definitely a downside to putting it there, and that's one of them. The power supply from here to there, well, there is none. None there, none there, none there. So that's something I'll have to work on. There is one not far away from the oven, so it might be an extension cord and a 4-plug multi-box going into there. I think that's probably the only option, really, to be fair. I'm going to try and run it without a filter, but definitely have a heater because it gets quite cold in here in the winter time. If I run it without a filter, I'm really going to try and fill up the top with a kumara plant, which I'll give a bit of an update on in a minute. And if I can find something else to float to really draw those nitrates out of the water, I think that's going to be the best option. So the kumara plant itself is going absolutely crazy. As you can see, the roots still aren't doing that flash, but I do believe that they are being picked at by the fish as they're all coming up to say hello. So I think if I put the kumara plant in the tank, tuck it in a corner, and maybe put a little bit of port foam in front of it, where I'm going to possibly hide the heater, that might work. The roots themselves might grow a decent distance and not be picked up by the fish. And as you can see in here, I'm just trialing a few, you can't quite see, a few different sorts of leaves. Once they sink, we'll see how they go. Just some dry ones that I've found hanging around my house. Alright, so the next part in this Blackwater setup is preparing the bit of substrate. I've got some aquarium peat here. I'll open up the bag, put it into my handy dandy ice cream container. I've got a little bit of substrate in there, so once this is all sunk and waterlogged and everything else like that, I'll be able to mix it through the substrate for the aquarium. So this is a two-handed job with my scissors, so give me a second. So it appears that plant scissors aren't very good for opening plastic bags. But anyway, so I've got 150 grams of aquarium peat, which is just normal peat. In we go. Give it a wee mix up, get it all moist, get it all soggy, and I'll just let that begin to soak in time. I'll just keep topping it up as required, and then when I'm ready to bring the tank inside and start setting it up, I'll mix the other substrate up with it. I'll be away laughing. But by waterlogging it, it means that none of it will just sort of float and look like crap when I first set it up. So that's the idea. There we go, it's already beginning to mix in well. Alright, let's move on to the next part I need to do. Alright, so I'm still trying to waterlog these two bits of wood. I can't really do anything until they are completely sunk, and they're not really looking like that's happening anytime soon. Which is a shame, but they're sitting out here in my green water trough, which I've just recently cleaned out and done again. There was too much muck in the bottom and it was annoying me. So eventually they'll sink, so 2 of the 3 are still floating, unfortunately. They'll sink in time. So these are the last thing that I need to prepare before I go ahead and do anything with it. Unfortunately, if I sink them now and that wood takes, I don't know, another 4 or 5 weeks or so for it to sink, this will be an absolute waste and these guys will be deteriorated by them. So as soon as I have seen that that wood is sunk, I'll begin prepping this. It's just pretty similar to the peat and the wood. I was going to put it in a small container of water for a while. As soon as it's sunk, then I'll be able to use it in the scape, just so it basically doesn't float when I first put it in there. And last but not least in this whole process, I need to go and collect some other leaves. Yes, leaves. I need to go and collect some leaves. They have begun falling in my area because it's so damn dry at the moment. So probably next weekend I'll go collect some. There's a few in the backyard. Once I've got maybe 2 dozen, 3 dozen, something like that, I'll be fine for the time being, and then I'll collect the rest come autumn and get them continually going. So it's been sitting for about 15 minutes now, and it's all nice and soggy. So I'll just leave this here, top it up with water as I need it, and then by the time I need to use it, it'll be nice and soggy and gross and ready to go into the Blackwater. Nice and easy. So there we go, there is part 2 of us setting up our Blackwater aquarium setup. We now know where it's going. We've got a fair idea of some of the botanicals that are going in it. Working on the substrate. The tank itself I still need to clean up and paint the background to it and that kind of stuff, but you know, plenty of weekends coming up. So yeah, I don't know what fish I'm going to put in, but at this point I've still got a bit of time because the wood's still not sunk. Once that's sunk I might think a little bit harder. Not that I'm not thinking hard at the moment, but you know what I mean. So there we go. If you've liked what we've done, please subscribe to the channel, and if you didn't like it, well, don't subscribe. Nothing more I can do with that. Please feel free to share it, ask any comments, give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Doesn't really worry me too much, just do what you gotta do. Have a good one guys, happy fish keeping, and catch you later.